In the heart of a lush, verdant jungle, far removed from civilization, a legend whispered through the rustling leaves. This was not an ordinary jungle. It was a place where time seemed to bend, where towering trees touched the clouds, and where the ancient spirits of the land held dominion. Within this mystical jungle, hidden from the eyes of man, was a floating island known as Laputa, the castle in the sky. Laputa, a relic of an advanced civilization, drifted above the dense canopy, its presence an enigma, a dream passed down through generations. The story begins with Pazu, a young and determined boy who had grown up hearing tales of the mysterious floating castle from his father. His father had once claimed to have seen Laputa during a flight, a sight so beautiful and awe-inspiring that it was etched into Pazu's imagination. Now, years later, Pazu was determined to prove that his father's discovery was real. Armed with his father's old journals and a heart full of adventure, he set out to find Laputa, unaware of the dangers that lay in wait. One day, as Pazu was exploring a hidden trail deep in the jungle, he stumbled upon something extraordinary. A young girl named Sheeta, who had fallen from the sky. Sheeta was unconscious but unharmed, and around her neck hung a mysterious glowing crystal. Pazu, sensing the importance of the girl and the crystal, carried her to his small jungle home, eager to help her and learn more about her strange appearance. When Sheeta awoke, she was disoriented but grateful. She explained that she had been running from a group of dangerous men, pirates and government agents alike, who were after her and the crystal. The crystal, she revealed, was a key to finding Laputa, the fabled castle in the sky. It was also a source of immense power, one that could either heal the world or destroy it, depending on whose hands controlled it. Pazu, enthralled by the prospect of finding Laputa and fulfilling his father's dream, promised to help Sheeta. However, he soon realized that their journey through the jungle would be far more perilous than he had imagined. The jungle, with its towering trees, tangled vines, and hidden creatures, was alive in ways they could not comprehend. It was as though the jungle itself was guarding the secret of Laputa, testing those who sought its power. As Pazu and Sheeta ventured deeper into the jungle, they encountered all manner of challenges. Strange, mechanical guardians, relics of Laputa's ancient technology, roamed the jungle, protecting the secrets of the floating castle. These towering automatons, with vines wrapping around their rusted bodies, seemed to blend into the environment, emerging only when threatened. Pazu and Sheeta had to rely on their wits and quick thinking to evade these guardians, who were relentless in their pursuit. Despite the dangers, the jungle also revealed its wonders. They discovered a hidden oasis, a place of serenity and beauty, where the air was thick with the scent of flowers and the sound of trickling water. In this peaceful sanctuary, they met an old woman named Muira, who had lived in the jungle for decades. Muira was a wise and gentle soul who knew much about Laputa and the crystal. She warned them of the consequences of their quest, explaining that Laputa was both a blessing and a curse, a place of great knowledge, but also of great danger. Muira told them a story, one that had been passed down through the ages. Laputa, she explained, was once a utopia, a city of advanced technology and knowledge, floating above the earth. But its people, in their pursuit of power, had become arrogant and lost sight of what truly mattered. They created machines that could control the elements and bend nature to their will. But in doing so, they disrupted the delicate balance of the world. Eventually, Laputa fell from grace, its people scattered, and the castle was left to drift, forgotten by time, hidden from the eyes of those who would seek its power. Pazu and Sheeta listened intently, realizing that their quest was not just about finding the castle, it was about understanding the responsibility that came with such power. Muira gave them a parting gift, a map that showed the way to Laputa, but it came with a warning: only those with pure hearts can enter the castle. The jungle will test you. Do not lose yourselves in the pursuit of power. With the map in hand, Pazu and Sheeta continued their journey, but the jungle seemed to grow more treacherous with each passing day. The trees seemed taller, the shadows darker, and the air thicker with mystery. It was as though the jungle itself was testing their resolve, challenging them to prove that they were worthy of finding Laputa. One night, as they camped near a waterfall, they were attacked by a group of pirates led by the fierce Captain Dola. Dola and her crew had been chasing Sheeta for days, determined to steal the crystal and use it to find Laputa for themselves. A fierce battle ensued, with Pazu and Sheeta barely managing to escape into the dense undergrowth of the jungle. The next few days were a blur of close encounters and narrow escapes as the jungle seemed to close in around them. They faced quicksand, venomous snakes, and even carnivorous plants that seemed to sense their presence. Yet through it all, Pazu and Sheeta's bond grew stronger. They learned to rely on each other, to trust one another's instincts, and to find courage in the face of overwhelming odds. One of the most harrowing trials came when they stumbled upon an ancient ruin deep in the heart of the jungle. The ruin was overgrown with vines, its once majestic stone structures crumbling with age. Inside they found a massive mural depicting the history of Laputa, from its rise to its eventual fall. The mural also showed something else, a warning about the crystal. It depicted a figure wielding the crystal's power, only to be consumed by it, becoming a puppet to its destructive force. This realization weighed heavily on Sheeta, who began to doubt whether she should continue the journey. She feared that by finding Laputa, they might unleash something terrible upon the world. But Pazu, ever the optimist, reassured her. "It's not about the power," he said. "It's about how we use it. If we find Laputa, we can make sure no one uses it to hurt anyone ever again." At last, after weeks of travel, they reached the edge of a massive cliff. Below them stretched an endless sea of green, trees so tall that their tops were lost in the clouds. And there, rising majestically above the jungle, was Laputa. The castle in the sky floated silently, its towers gleaming in the sunlight, its secrets waiting to be discovered. But as they prepared to ascend to the castle, they were confronted by Colonel Muska, a ruthless government agent who had been hunting them from the beginning. Muska had followed them through the jungle, determined to seize the crystal and use Laputa's power to rule the world. A fierce showdown ensued, with Muska revealing that he, too, was a descendant of Laputa's ancient rulers. In the chaos that followed, Muska managed to steal the crystal from Sheeta, activating Laputa's ancient defenses. The jungle trembled as the floating castle began to stir, its dormant power awakening. Giant robots emerged from the castle, their eyes glowing with a menacing light. The jungle, too, seemed to react, as though it could sense the threat to its ancient balance. Pazu and Sheeta knew they had to stop Muska before it was too late. They fought their way through the jungle, dodging robots and traps, until they reached the heart of Laputa. There, they confronted Muska in the castle's control room, where he was attempting to unlock the full power of the crystal. In a desperate bid to stop him, Sheeta recited an ancient spell, one that had been passed down through her family for generations. The spell caused the crystal to resonate with the very heart of Laputa, triggering a massive explosion that destroyed the control room and sent Muska plummeting into the jungle below. As the dust settled, Pazu and Sheeta found themselves standing in the ruins of the castle. Laputa, once a symbol of power and knowledge, was now a crumbling relic, its secrets lost to time. But they knew that they had done the right thing. The jungle, which had tested them so fiercely, had accepted them. They had proven that they were worthy, not because they sought power, but because they understood the responsibility that came with it. With Laputa's power neutralized and the crystal safely hidden away, Pazu and Sheeta returned to the jungle, where they found a new sense of peace. The jungle, once a place of danger and mystery, had become their home. A place where they could live in harmony with nature, free from the greed and ambition that had once threatened the world. As they watched the sun set over the treetops, they knew that their journey was far from over. The jungle still held many secrets, and there were still many adventures to be had. But they were ready, for they had learned the most important lesson of all. That true strength lies not in power, but in kindness, courage, and the willingness to protect what truly matters. And so, with hearts full of hope, Pazu and Sheeta set off into the jungle once more, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that as long as they stood together, they could overcome anything.